So I recorded one of these already. I figured let's just do a second one and make this a lot shorter because I was kind of ranting when I first recording of this. But I want to do kind of like a part two what I was talking about earlier. If you're going from somebody who want like a console into a Nintendo Switch, and I kind of had my feelings about how I like the Switch. They're still kind of iffy on. I think there's a type of person that's gonna like the Switch a lot more than somebody else. So this video is semi ranting about Mario Odyssey, but also semi there to kind of help people who are considering picking up buying a Switch if it's worth it. If they're more like a PC or console gamer. And from playing Mario Odyssey, I'm just gonna go right into it and say I had it when I bought it when I shortly after I bought Breath of the Wild, and I kind of been holding off on it. I love Breath of the Wild. It's a fun game. I think possibly slightly overrated, but still extremely fun. I think that is somewhat worth the purchase of a Switch. So it is pretty cool. Splatoon 2, having like real lot of fun with that game. I think you get the same kind of fun factor from playing any first-person shooter though, but I think it's a new, novel approach at like a multiplayer, which is really cool. But the Odyssey game, I really don't see it. I don't see from after playing it, and again, I have a history of growing up just as like many people have, 20 plus years playing video games. Not huge in the Nintendo world, but I don't hate Nintendo. I like the characters like anybody else. But I think if you like Odyssey to the point where I've heard these reviewers and past reviews over the last 2 years talking like 10 out of 10, some people saying it's the best game of all time, the best game they've ever played. I don't know what they're talking about. And I'm not some game snob who says like, oh, you don't know what a true gamer is or you don't know what a good game is till you see it. I don't see that's not me at all. I mean, I like a fun game. I can admit when I can see when a game is really good. I think when I played Breath of the Wild, I mean, I can see people think that's one of their favorite games. Still, I compare it to the back of my head to like other games that are very similar. I think are a little bit better in my opinion. I think it's the best game of all time. I wouldn't say that, but that's somewhat in an individual level. That's obviously subjective. That's anything, right? But I can see where people kind of would say that it's always a fun game, or it is a fun game. Still playing it, but Mario Odyssey, I don't see it at all. I don't. I mean, I think bottom line, if you took the Mario Odyssey and took out Mario and put in any other whatever new character, and I think this would be a bigger deal if it was like a new Nintendo character that people would like it more. But if it was just like a third party game Sony put out, whatever, had a new character, hell, you could put Crash Bandicoot in this game. And it's about all the Nintendo bad guys for Crash Bandicoot bad guys. No one would be raving about that game or this game. It just to me it felt like I got it expecting that this game would be like a game pouring a lot of hours in and have a lot of exposure to it, like Breath of the Wild is at this point. But I bought it. I played it. This is Monday. I played it on this Friday. I opened it up, put it in. I think I was just gonna play for a little bit, and it was fun. I started playing. It was a fun game. Wasn't kind of earth shattering. I'm like, this is fun. I can see the creative platforming involved here. The whole cappy thing was kind of cool. But with a name like Odyssey, I just thought this game was a lot bigger because I bought the little special edition thing with the little booklet, little cardboard box, whatever. Came with a little book. I started flipping through it and I saw the little kingdom. I was like, oh, there's be a lot of worlds in here. Then like I literally played. I wasn't trying to like just dive in and go like just ape on this game in like one weekend. But I played it like from Friday, a little bit at nighttime, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning. And all of a sudden, I got to like the Metropolis level, and as I'm getting through even when I got through the first three worlds, I'm like, what? I looked in the book. I already knew how many worlds were. I'm like, I'm like almost done with this shit. I mean, there's no other. Where's the? I was expecting with a name like Odyssey that there was gonna be this big open world. Didn't have to be huge. It wasn't expecting something gigantic, but I thought it'd be a little more bigger than this, and the levels would be a little more intricate. I thought there'd be way more to that. Like when I was playing like the demo weeks back and playing what was it, like Target. I was at the sand level messing around, and I thought like this is one little small area in this huge big sand world. Not that there was like barely anything there, and that was the biggest thing. I just felt like the game went by so fast. It was extremely easy. I'm not someone who's an awesome gamer. I don't need an extremely challenging game. It was still fun, but I was the whole time like I don't see where the hype is because I'm listening to reviews. I remember the old reviews, people talking about like the creative stuff you can do with the hat and how you can absorb all these different enemies and get their powers. You can get some enemies, but it's not like there's that many. And I thought when you get these powers, you can kind of use them in different intricate spots in different maps and different worlds, and they weren't just kind of contrived like mapped out to get a certain location in that particular world. And there really wasn't that much stuff to really inhabit. Like the T-Rex, that was cool. I mean, you get that for like 2 seconds. All the different guys were like that. And there wasn't that many. I mean, it wasn't like you could keep these like powers later on and use them throughout the world. It was kind of limited, and it kind of gave you the hint like, hey, here's what you do with this stuff. You go do this with it. Kind of handed pretty heavy handed to you. So I definitely wasn't coming to the place like I was trying to hate this game. I knew, as I said in the last video, that I think there's a type of person that's gonna like Nintendo stuff, the Nintendo world, which I totally understand. I'm not knocking you guys, but if you're really into Disney stuff and you like the Disney characters, pretty much if it's a decent movie and there's some like Disney characters in there, or like a little like cameo of a Disney character, you're gonna go crazy over it, which is fine, understandable. But I could see where people really like this game, but the fact that people were raving about how good this game was, it felt incredibly average to me. I mean, I'm not a huge platformer, but I really thought there'd be a lot more of a step from this to Mario 64. Mario 64 felt innovative, and I know there's not so much you can do to reinvent the wheel. If this game was what I thought it was, I could see where that would be. I could see if this game was a bigger world as I thought it was, if there was more stuff you could inhabit, if it was a little bit more challenging, just basically a bigger game. I know people said like, well, you can go, but once you beat the game, there's little sub areas that open up, and you can go back and find more moons. But I had no motivation. Like right now, I'm at the Metropolis. I did got a couple moons in the Metropolis, but now I honestly don't even care at playing. I'm kind of over it because I feel like it's fun, but there's other stuff I'd rather play Breath of the Wild and I'd rather play Splatoon than I have to right now. And I have Mario Kart too, but that's a whole other story. Mario Kart I can get into too. I think that's overrated. I mean, I think that's a fun game. It's like it's fun to have around your house, but I don't really think it was worth honestly the $60 I almost paid for it for the lack of versatility and stuff you can do in the game. Even Splatoon 2, I love Splatoon 2. Is it really worth $60? And I would say it's worth like $35 with the amount of it's just repetitive fun that you can get good at the game. There's different nuances to the game. I think that's cool, but I'm kind of struggling a little bit again with the Switch. Just is it really worth it? Because now once I'm done with Breath of the Wild, I don't know. I've still got ways with that. I'm trying to find some other games to play. And I still love the concept of the Switch. I love playing it portable and everything like that. But Mario Odyssey again was another hit that I kind of like hoping it wasn't going to be like this. But I was just really shocked how short it was. I had no idea it was this short. And I know people are going to come on and say like, well, there's so much more you got to do. But it's more collecting, and that's why I looked into it. People were saying I have no intention of going after these moons to collect this crap for no reason that helps me in the game later on. And I think the only reason you do that is if you really loved Mario and you loved that world. Is it fun I thought the platforming was creative. I thought it could have been way more creative. I think it was a bigger, longer game. I would have saw more of that naturally. I just thought the game was very contrived, very obvious. It was a game. Obviously, I think a kid could obviously play this. Bosses were incredibly easy. I know I haven't gotten to the last one, which is supposedly hard, but I do think I'm just shocked at how hyped this game was and how totally mediocre I really thought it was as far as what I was expecting in a new generation game from the hype it really got. So I'm curious to any of you guys out there that played the game, what you really thought this game was awesome about it. If you gave it a 10 out of 10, even 9 out of 10, or if you said this is the best game of all time. I mean, I think if you really are honest with yourself, I think you're into just the Mario character and you're into the Nintendoverse, that was the fun part of it. And not judging you, I think that sounds reasonable to me. But again, I think if you think this is the best game of all time, but if you said it would be just as good if you subbed out Mario with Crash Bandicoot, would it be still your top favorite game? I don't see it. I don't see it at all, to be honest. But I could be wrong. Again, little rant here. Let me know your thoughts on this. Really curious, though, if you love this game, what you loved about it, because I do not see it. Maybe I should give it a second chance. Right now it's on sale on Amazon for my copy, and it's down to $43. No one's buying it yet, so trying to get rid of it yet, believe it or not. But so that's it. Let me know if you guys have any comments. Thanks.